Hello and welcome to episode 25 of the Lonely Knitter podcast. Hi, my name is Laura. Today is the 26th of February 2025 and welcome to my crazy corner of the internet. I'm coming to you from Lowestoft in the UK, from Folk Yarn Studio. That is my workspace. This is not my home. First off, I just want to apologise if you can hear loads of background noise today. I have moved my setup. I'm normally sat way back there, but the lighting has been a constant source of annoyance, and this is my only source of natural light in the studio, the front door. So I have decided to come really far forward. Unfortunately, it is raining and obviously we're closer to the road, so if there is background noise, I'm so sorry. If you are a new viewer, hi, welcome to my crafty corner of the internet. If you are a returning viewer, hi, welcome back, thank you for coming back. So Folk Yarn Studio is in the most easterly town of England, that is in Lowestoft. I am not a shop that is open in regular shop open hours or anything like that. I do studio stitch mornings and evenings with some lovely folk. If you are local and you'd like to come along, let me know. But my main thing that I do here is organise East Anglia Yarn Festival, which is an annual show in Norwich coming up next month. And I dye yarn. I dye as the Lonely Knitter, and I also create this stuff. This is folk yarn, which is East Anglian wool turned into yarn in Yorkshire and brought back to me here in the most easterly town in England. I will put all the links below for everything that I do if you would like to check it out. I do also have a giveaway open on last week's episode. I will be drawing the winner next week, so if you haven't seen that episode and you would like a chance to win that giveaway, head back to the last episode to find out what to do. And I am also running a few Makealongs at the moment. Those are all happening over in my Discord group. Again, links below. I have the Friends That Grimble Together Makealong, which I am co-hosting with my lovely friend Helen of the KNITS podcast and Goody Yarn's yarn dyeing fame. As well as that, I have a channel over there for anything that you knit out of either my hand-dyed yarn, the Lonely Knitter yarn, or my folk yarn. If you have knit something that is at least 50% or more my yarn, you can pop it into that thread and I draw prizes quarterly. I try and check in regularly over on my Discord as well. I have the 5 minutes a day crafting thread. It is basically just a place where I try and go to log my progress on things or chat about the things I'm making and chat with you guys about the things you're making. A bit of fun really, but also to just keep going on crafting the things that I want to make and get distracted and move on to other things all the time, because that is me and squirrel. So I think that's everything for a very quick intro today. Today is going to be a quick podcast because I don't have tons to share, but I do have a finished object. Let's dive straight in. Finished object number one, I'm currently hiding underneath my chair. If you have a goodie bag for East Anglia Yarn Festival, if you have gone onto the East Anglia Yarn Festival website and purchased a goodie bag, there is going to be 2 patterns in that goodie bag. Now, and the yarn to make those patterns. Now, you guys know that already if you have purchased a goodie bag, because it was all in the description. And those patterns were written up last year. However, they have not been, or they are currently being, put onto the format for me to print them. So these are patterns that I have written, and I wanted to knit them up in the colourway that comes in the goodie bag, so that I could have pictures on the pattern that are in that specific colourway. So this week I have knit up a sample and I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to switch to black and white. And I am going to show you the pattern. So look away if you don't want to be spoiled, if you don't want to see the pattern that will be in there, but you're not going to see the colourway. You won't be spoiled on what the colour is because we're in black and white right now. So final warning, look away if you don't want to see the cowl pattern before the goodie bag. It wasn't ever meant to be a surprise or a secret, it was just exclusive to the goodie bag. So yeah, look away now, final warning. This is the cowl pattern. I am going to keep the name a secret as well, but this is the cowl that I have made this week. I'm going to get up and show you just so you can see the stitch pattern. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. There we go. So it kind of looks like a garter pattern, but it isn't. It is done with slip stitches. It's quite a small cowl. As you can see, it is double thickness because it is made, I'm going to say it's made in like a tube construction. This is not blocked because I didn't have time to block it before the podcast. I have finished it this morning. I have just been working on this whenever I get a second. It is a relatively simple pattern, which means it can go around with me, and it has gone around with me all this week. I'll tell you at the end, life stuff that has been going on, that this has gone through the week with me. And I'm going to block it after the podcast because it will get a bit more width. I'll put it on so you can see. So it's not meant to be a super slouchy cowl at all. It does take pretty much the whole 100-gram DK skein. And yeah, it will grow because it is super wash yarn. It's meant to sit up around there so that I can do my coat up and it be trapped in there. Really enjoyed making this because it was just a little bit of a vanilla knit, but also a small little project, and this project has got quite big, so it's easy to carry around at the moment. And as I had finished my DK weight socks last week, I didn't have a super portable, mindless knit to work on, so that's what this is. I'm going to hide it now. So if you were looking away because you didn't want to see the pattern before you got your goodie bag, you can now look back. So yeah, that was knit in 100 grams of my Luxe DK base, which is the base that is going into all of the goodie bags for this year's East Anglia Yarn Festival. And we are on to whips. Now this is one of the reasons this is going to be a very short episode today. I've only brought one whip to show you. And I realise that that is, if you've watched last week's episode, it makes it very obvious that I have abandoned a whip. So the whip that I have to share with you for this week is, again, my Daft Days cardigan. I told you this was going to get old, folks. The project that went on forever and ever, but as, if you're a long-term viewer, you'll know, I usually prefer accessories because I can get them finished a lot quicker, and I am talking and not concentrating, and I have started knitting the stitch pattern from the cowl instead of for the Daft Days. Okay, I've tinked back. The seagulls are rabid today. I've tinked back and I think we're all good. So I can't actually remember where I was last week. I think that I moved my marker. Let me see. So I think I moved my marker to there. So I have gone to here, and this was the back. And then I have moved on to my first front. And I'm working up the front on the first side because it's a cardigan. So yeah, we're there working up this front. I am an idiot. No, I'm lazy and I haven't bothered to put these onto holders. It does say to put the rest of these stitches onto holders, stitch holders, and work this bit on your needles, but I couldn't be bothered, so this is all still sat on my needle. And I'm really untidy and messy, and even though I have been clipping some of my ends and not carrying them all up the sides on this bit like I did on the body, which you weren't supposed to do either, I haven't been organising myself. So this is the contents of my project bag right now. It's awful. It would definitely give some people a bit of a twitch. It's giving me a little bit of a twitch. Anyway, I'm going to put it down. But my Daft Days is still going. I am now hopeful, potentially hopeful, that I might get to waistcoat stage before EAYF. So this is one of the Makealong patterns. This is the Daft Days by Rebecca Clow. That's the CreaBea, and it's one of the Makealong patterns for this year's East Anglia Yarn Festival. We have a crochet and a knit pattern for the show, and you can collect a free ribbon award if you complete it and wear it to the show. I think I might be walking around the show in a Daft Days unfinished waistcoat. It will still be more of an accomplishment than previous years, where I have not even got that far. I am making this in folk yarn. This is in my colourways Holt, Sandringham and California Great Yarmouth. They are behind me. It's a DK weight project, and my gorgeous little Cauldron stitch marker is from Flame Knits. If you are a long time viewer, you have probably got very bored of seeing this. I am not a fast maker. I am still recording weekly, just coming here to the internet to bore you all, really. So I'm going to put that down. My plans for this week are to get my someone to write gnome about back out. So last week I showed you that I had cast on, but only just cast on, for another gnome. It's not part of the Friends That Grimble Together Makealong gnome plan that I had, but I'm squeezing it in anyway. My next gnome is due to begin at the start of March, or to be made in March, so I need to get a wiggle on if I want to squeeze this one in before my March gnome. I really do want it. It's just I needed to work on this cowl and get that done quickly for the pictures. So everything else got put down this week, and now that that's finished, I picked the Daft days back up. There is now a space in the project bag, the other side of the project bag is empty, and I can put the gnome back in there. And I also want those DK weight socks that I have been talking about for weeks, knit out of my Valentine's yarn, that is caked up and sat on my bedside table, ready to go, and I just haven't had a second. This is what it's like before EAYF. We have 2 weeks and 2 days before the show. I am in full panic mode. Everything at this stage is admin, and yeah, I'm just staring at a screen, replying to emails, laying out show guides, laying out floor plans, doing all that sort of thing on repeat, and I'm knackered. But also they're all things that I have to be typing with, and I can't have my knitting in my hands, and it sucks. Admin is the worst, the worst. Anyway, so those are my plans. Stash enhancement. I have stash enhancement this week. So this Monday was Monday morning studio stitch morning. I had a group of my lovely ladies come to the studio, and we all bring our projects, knit, crochet, whatever, sit around the table just for a couple of hours, like 10 till 12. It's not every Monday, we only do one a month at the moment because my kids are little, and trying to find time to do all the things, I don't want to let anyone down and say, oh, big plans, I'm going to do this weekly, and then not manage to do it. So we're on monthly for that one at the moment, and we just have such a nice time, or at least I did. I hope they did. But my lovely friend Jess, who comes to our evenings, was able to come to the morning one this Monday because she had a week off of work. And while she was here, she said that after stitch morning, she was going to head over to Over the Hook, which is the yarn shop, local yarn shop on the other side of town from me. And I said, can I jump in the car with you and come? Now, I really have no business going to yarn shops. I am very busy, but I had just been staring at a screen non-stop. I had been so busy all weekend. I had been spending my evenings working. I was just feeling very burnt out. And sometimes a trip to a yarn shop is exactly what you need when you're feeling burnt out. So I made a purchase, because how can you not? So we went to Over the Hook, which is a lowest off yarn shop, and I bought these. So Over the Hook mainly specialise, I don't think they do any hand dyed at the moment, but they mainly specialise in commercial yarns, and they have a really good range of affordable yarns. Now, I'm going to just say this right here, right now, because I know it's going to put some people on the interwebs off, and I know it can be a controversial subject, but I do not consider myself a yarn snob in any way. I love hand-dyed yarn. I love it. I love supporting yarn dyers. I love natural fibres. I love it. I make both. I make both hand-dyed yarn and yarn made from 100% British wool. I think there is place for everything, everywhere. And I looked at this, and for me, commercial yarn is especially a love when it comes to things for my children, things that I want to last a really long time, that I want to be able to bung in the washing machine. So I have love for all yarn, basically. And I was going around the shop with Jess, who was a lot naughtier than I was in the yarn shop, but she is also a very quick crocheter and knitter too. She's the one that made the gorgeous jumper that I was wearing last week, and she made it in record time. So I found this yarn. I'm going to come a bit closer. So here we go. I think you can see that. Oh my gosh, there's loads of road noise now. Yeah, so I found this, and it is Boho Spirit by Cygnet. It's a singles ply. It's not applied yarn, and it is in the colour 6006 Lotus. Is 100% premium acrylic. 100 grams is 240 meters, so it's a DK weight. And there is a little picture. I don't know if it'll work out exactly like that, because I have had some differing things from labels before, but there is a picture of how it should work up. Again, I'm not sure it will work out like that, because first of all, I'm going to crochet it, and second of all, I have no idea how many stitches that is on to get that pattern. Anyway, it says on the label that Cygnet Yarns is based in Bradford in West Yorkshire, and yeah, it was £4.35 per ball. My lovely friend Jess said that this would be fine to make a granny hexie cardie for Ellie, my little girl, my 8-year-old. So I think that's what I'm going to do, because Ellie would adore this. Pinks and purples are big faves for both me and for Ellie, and yeah, I'll do it on quite a loose gauge. It'll have the holes, that won't bother her at all. I have my own granny hexie cardie. I've worn it previously on the podcast, and I think she would absolutely love to have her own. So I bought this for myself as a treat because I can make something and get the making time out of it, but as a gift really for her. Once the show is over, I usually, after East Anglia Yarn Festival, have a few weeks of absolute complete and utter burnout. And I thought I will treat myself. I'm going to put this aside, and once the show is done, I will make Ellie a cardie and she'll love it, and it'll make me feel good in my burnout time. So yeah, stash enhancement this week. And yeah, a very affordable little bit of stash enhancement, because if it was full price, it would have been about £13, and Adi did give me a little discount because he is a sweetheart. But for that price, to be able to have enough yarn to make something for my little girl and get all of those hours of enjoyment out of, I think it's a good deal, and I'm really happy, and it's really pretty. And Over the Hook yarn shop, my local yarn shop, is also vending this year at East Anglia Yarn Festival. So if you fancy checking them out, I'm not sure they'll have this with them, but go and have a chat because they sell lots of lovely affordable yarns. So on to watching and reading. First of all, watching, Chris and I have started series 3 of The Traitors, the BBC version, the most recent series. Not very far through it yet, but enjoying it, same as I did the first 2 series. We had a sort of week before where we hadn't watched anything, and to be honest, the majority of this past week has been the same. And then last night, he said to me, do you want to watch some Traitors? And I just thought, yes I do, but I'm still doing emails, let's do it at the same time. And he had to keep pausing it because he could see I wasn't concentrating and going, watch this bit, or this just happened. So I am forever grateful to my very patient husband. But yeah, we've just about started watching it. I've also watched 1 episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. I have been talking about this for a few weeks, but I haven't had a lot of watch time. Again, after EAYF, I will take a couple of weeks where there will be burnout time, and I'm going to binge watch at least a series. But it's just that crazy bit of time where I haven't got the brain. It's just the crazy bit of the year for me. Reading, oh my gosh, I'm on a bit of a trend here. It's still the same book as last week, however I have actually read some of it. So it's episode 13 by DiLouie, and actually I have my Kindle here because it lives in the front of my project bag, so I can tell you how far through it I am. I am now 37% of the way through episode 13, and you know what? I hope it gets better soon, because I don't know if it's the format of it, because it's meant to be evidence from a TV show and different recordings of things, and the way it's formatted, I am getting little blips where I'm going ooh, and then getting a little bit bored reading it. I think it's a real shame, because I think it looked like I was going to get really sucked into this book when I started it off, and I think after the last book I read where I just was a bit I need to find myself a really good book for the next one. So if anyone has any recommendations, I will read pretty much everything, but I'd like something not too long, maybe a little bit scary. So if anyone's got any recommendations, let me know. Yeah, I need something that's really good after this one, because I feel like I've had a couple of books in a row that I haven't absolutely loved. I have a little bit of life stuff to get into. The only thing I was going to say first is that I am going to be having a little shop update on Saturday, and I haven't written the date down and my brain is not braining. That'll be the 1st, I think, of March, this Saturday at 6 p.m. It's just going to be in stock things. So when I went to Waltham Abbey Wool Show in January, I took all of the stuff out of my website because I took it to the show, and I didn't want to not have something that I was selling in person available online and someone buy it, and so I never got around to putting those things back on. I've been really busy with dyeing all of the pre-orders for my All of Time and Space collection. So at 6 p.m. on the Saturday, I am going to pop into the online shop all of the stock that's left over from Waltham Abbey, things that came back with me, but also stock that is the extra things from the pans from the All of Time and Space pre-order. So if you especially are a fan of Doctor Who yarn, I will have a lot of that in there. I will also have, I don't actually know if you can see it in the background, but this thing here is full of Wicked yarn, which is again overstock from pre-ordered skeins and things that I bought back from Waltham Abbey. So yeah, I will have Wicked yarn, I will have Doctor Who yarn, and I will have a few of my older colourways, and they will all be available ready in stock, ready to ship on the website on Saturday at 6 p.m. That is GMT, because we're not at the summer yet. That is GMT, so obviously adjust for your own time zones if you are elsewhere in the world and would like to have a little look. So that takes me on to life. Oh my gosh, it's been a week. It's been a week. So obviously I recorded on Wednesday. So the next thing that happened was Thursday, which was quite a big day for me. And I have really ummed and ahed about whether or not to share this on the podcast, and I think I am going to, because when I have spoken to people in person about this, I have found a lot of people who really connected with it, and to the point where I had a conversation with someone where we both ended up in tears, actually, because the subject I'm going to talk about is something that is very personal to a lot of people and that a lot of people struggle with. The subject that I'm going to talk about is teeth. Now, if you were at the East Anglia Yarn Festival last year and you saw me running around with either a cold metal water bottle or a hot water bottle pressed against my face, I had a wisdom tooth infection that then spread and my neck started swelling and all went really gross. Yeah, I've had a lot of teeth problems for quite a long time. I think I might have spoken about it on the podcast before. Those stem from a lot of different things over many years. So long story short, I have had problems especially with my back teeth for a long time, and especially since I have had children, I have had a lot of problems up here. I had these teeth removed over the course of years when they couldn't stay anymore and I don't have any back teeth at the top here. So I do now, luckily, after many years of being registered at my dentist, but my dentist had left, so I was registered at practice but could only have emergency appointments, and ended up at one point having to pay £1,400 for emergency dental treatment because things just got a bit beyond. I do now have an NHS dentist again, so I am incredibly lucky because I know a lot of people don't have that right now. And on Thursday I went to my dentist after many appointments that have been going on for a very long time, and I got my plate fitted. Now the reason I'm talking about this is because the conversations that I have had with people since having my plate fitted have made me realise that there is a lot of people who have missing teeth and who have different things put in to replace them that feel quite a lot of shame or upset or loneliness or embarrassment, and I had felt that way too, and talking about it had made me feel a lot better actually. I also realised that I might sound a little bit different because I am still getting used to having something in my mouth. So I have now got a plate. So I don't have any top teeth up here, and I now have two teeth which are on a removable plate that sits in my mouth. That means that I have metal framework up here in the roof of my mouth that clips to the back of my larger teeth that I have left and holds in these two teeth that the dentist has given me. Ultimately, I'd love to have something like implants, but implants cost around £2,000 per tooth. I think they said it was £2,200 for the first tooth, and then after that, if you had more, it brought the price slightly down to make them about £2,000 each. And I would also need a bone graft to make gum or something here, and that's an extra cost, and all of that, to be honest, I don't even have a quarter of it. Yeah, it's not an option for me right now, which is absolutely fine. I feel very lucky to be able to have what I have. However, if you notice me lisping at all on the podcast at the moment or in person at the show or anything like that, it will just be because I have a piece of metal in my mouth that I'm not quite used to. Now I'm trying my best to enunciate and get used to it, because apparently it's all learned and muscle, and if I just keep it in and keep working with it, I will be fine. So yeah, it's quite a big deal for me. It means absolutely nothing to anybody else, but it's nice to be able to sort of eat again on that side, and if I sound weird, that's why. I'm not shy about it. If you are somebody who's coming along to the show and you're thinking that you might need the same thing and you're stressed about it or anything like that, and you want to see mine, I am that person who's like, you want me to take my teeth out? I will. It also means that I can now say things like, oh, I forgot to put my teeth in if I mess up my words, and it's a genuine fact. But yeah, I know it might put some people off. I know it's not the nicest thing to talk about for some folks, but I'm not particularly squeamish, and it's just a fact of life for me now, and doesn't stop me from doing anything, and I feel lucky that I've been able to get it. So that was Thursday. Anyway, Friday was a really busy work day. So all of last week was the school half-term holidays, so I had children with me all day, but Friday was a busy work day, but I also managed to get out and take my kids to the cinema, and we all went out for dinner, which was really nice, and it was a bit of a treat for them, considering the whole week they were stuck with me at work and I was just throwing activities at them or things while they watched me work. I think the February half-term holiday is always going to be a hard one for us, with March being East Anglia Yarn Festival, and that's just life. This Saturday was a bit mad. Saturday before 12 o'clock I got to the local Scout Hall because it was the Brownie Thinking Day sleepover. That was fun. I stayed overnight, so we did lots of activities during the day, and the kids watched a movie, and actually it was wonderful to watch my little girl and her whole Brownie group just have the best time and be so excited. Unfortunately, I turned out to be quite a light sleeper. The prospect of waking up at any moment, I was at the other end of the hall with a sort of barrier that we'd built between us. The girls were at the other side, and then we'd put up chairs on top of tables and put blankets up so that we had a barrier for the adults. But yeah, the prospect of at any point in the night waking up with a face here going hedgehog I think made me a very light sleeper. There was quite a lot of chatting that went on for quite a long time, and there was a light quite near me, like to show the girls the way to the toilet, so that was fine. But it just meant that I had about an hour's sleep on the Saturday night. We had to leave early because the sleepover went on until 2, but I had to leave at 10 with Ellie to get to my mum's family birthday get together, because my mum had a special birthday the other week, and that was one of the nicest things. There was like 34 of us, a room full of my family, some of whom I haven't seen in years, and it was just really lovely, and we all came together to celebrate my wonderful mum, but also just to see each other and chat and have a nice time. And I came off 1 hour's sleep from a Brownie sleepover. Ellie did pretty well, considering I think she had about 7 hours sleep, which is a lot less than normal for her, but you know, good going. And yeah, my cousins came and my grandparents were there, and yeah, just so many wonderful people that I absolutely adore and don't get to see very often. And other than that, it has just been all systems go with work. I had a send cafe meeting thing at the school on Monday. Other than that, it's just been work. If you keep hearing weird creaking as I move around, I'm so sorry. I am wearing my motorbike. I rode to work on my motorbike today, and now I have to ride home for the school run in the rain because it's gross out there. But I have my big knee pads on, so I haven't taken my trousers off. I've got jeans on underneath, so I'm wearing double layer on my bottom half, but it's chilly in the studio, so I hadn't taken them off, and I've got big knee pads on, and they sort of creak as I move around. And I think the only other thing I was going to talk about was this t-shirt, because I haven't talked about it yet. But this is an East Anglia Yarn Festival t-shirt. Now, I was exploring T-Mill to see if they could do me a web shop for merchandise. So the way T-Mill works is that it's all done through them. It's nothing to do with me. I just upload designs and then you guys can purchase them, and I would get a little cut. I am not sure I'm going to share the link for it at all. This top is one I wanted for me, but it's not size inclusive, so it's one I don't really want to sell or allow them to sell with my logo on. And I also ordered a jumper which is a bit more size inclusive, which I really like, but has a mark on the back, so I need to get in touch with them. And I need to go through their catalogue because they make it really hard to see which products come in which sizes. So I'm in the process of trying to make that happen so that I can work out what I can offer that is actually a size inclusive product. So yeah, that's where the story of this t-shirt comes from. It just got delivered yesterday, and I really like the fit for me, and I really want to have them for me, but I am not sure about offering them for sale if I can't get them in a size inclusive range, because I don't feel good about it. Anyway, I think that's everything. If you've got all the way to the end of this video, leave me, as I came to work today on my motorbike, leave me a bike emoji. Is there a motorbike emoji? I don't know. If there isn't a bicycle, there must be a bike of some sort emoji. And yeah, turned out to be a chattier episode than I thought it was going to be. But again, not a lot to talk about. I'm so sorry, but you guys are keeping me accountable by me coming back each week. Don't forget to go back and enter that giveaway from last week if you haven't already and you would like to. And thank you, as always, for making me so much less of a lonely knitter.